pre-show shenanigans. We had this scheduled. The intern sent out the itinerary, the full agenda weeks in advance to watch this.
You already got a fraud alert, dude.
Well, Bishop Sycamore, Roy Johnson is the fraud of all frauds.
Yeah. Well,
one quote
we're gonna
said is,
that,
"I'm
though.
the most honest liar I know." If I'm lying, I would tell you.
Yeah, that was in the trailer. There's no spoilers there. We'll have a full breakdown another time.
Roy Johnson, he's
wow,
a man lot of nothing. He's literally capable of everything and everything bad you could possibly think he could do in that position. He did, and worse. But yeah, we'll be breaking that one down later.
Yeah, I got today's pre-show though. This was something that has literally happened to me in the last 30 minutes while I've been prepping for this episode. So obviously everybody's used to sharing people share walls, right? Like it's not an abnormal thing where you share walls with another apartment, or like in New Orleans, we share walls with our homes, something like that. Okay.
You share.
Yes. No, but I'm just saying, this is the basis, right? That's not abnormal, right?
Yes.
My house, the house that I live in, I'm on the bottom floor, all right? There's a floor above me of the house that other people live in. I share this upper wall, so the wall runs all the way up, right? This person, I don't know who it is because I haven't met them, put their phone against the wall, and for the last 30 minutes, my entire wall has been nonstop buzzing.
Okay.
From phone notifications, and I could hear it.
Okay, from phone notification. So does he have now not buzzing as in literal vibration, like the ringer is on, or noise? Because if he's vibrating, it's like with his phone vibration,
it's like literally the phone is against the wall and it's on like vibrate or whatever, because I hear the vibration through the wall.
Okay, so it's vibrations, not noises. Okay, let's start with that. That sounds like a very powerful phone. I'm not sure if I'm not okay.
It's either a powerful phone or really weak walls.
Probably the walls, I'm gonna guess, or maybe the man has two phones like Kevin Gates. That's the only other explanation I can have.
Yeah, that is also on the table.
Or this guy is like really getting ready for fantasy football. He turned like noties on for a bunch of like fantasy football accounts, and he's just getting spam noties all day.
Yeah.
That's the only other
spam group
text I have.
But let me ask you this though, because obviously I'm dealing with this currently. Okay. You live in an apartment building with neighbors.
Yes. Yeah.
What is the worst thing one of your neighbors has done?
Okay. There's been a healthy amount of things that have just been like slightly annoying. Nothing crazy though. Like people there's like a little, I don't know, not like a check-in area. We don't have like a doorman or like someone
like a front desk,
like a front desk receptionist. We don't have that, but like in the front, it's just a really small little area, and there's just an elevator and then stairs upstairs. But there's just like one little trash can, and that trash can does not always get cleaned on time. And since I've been at USC for like the past week or so, it's just been overfilling. But that's not really an annoying thing. Most annoying thing I've seen is that last year, for the second semester, the person living directly, not this room exactly, but like behind me, they had a dog, and the dog was there for not the whole semester, but I would at least 2 months. I'm gonna say it was probably more, but at least 2 months. And I remember one night I'm like getting ready for bed, and I just hear like a slight it was the dog barking, but the noise, I was just like, what could possibly be going on in that room right now? For reference, it's like 2 a.m. on a Friday night. So, I mean, anything could have been going on in there. And
lots of options.
Didn't think it was a dog. Found out the next morning. I knew the next morning. I confirmed it was a dog because I heard the owner in the room just being like, I forget the dog's name. It was the most stereotypical Buddy, like Fido, like Buster dog name of all time. I think it was Boxer. I never saw the dog. I also want to get that out of the way, but I just heard that fucker. The second day, I was woken up to some more barking, and the barking was getting louder, and that's when I concluded this was a dog. And my apartment neighbor was not home that morning for like 3 hours. And the dog, let's just say the dog had a field day on that couch. Don't think that couch is in that apartment anymore. That couch got torn to fucking shreds. Okay. That dog probably was a Chihuahua. Shit just
Yeah,
lethal ripped him up.
you know how LA people love their
Love their
chihuahuas.
Wawas. Their Wawas. They love them. I would say the dog's the most annoying thing because that shit was just yapping all the time. And the dude
I feel
would
like
have a
so
morning
anytime
class
you have
and wouldn't be with the dog. It
yeah,
would just be screaming.
anytime you share a wall neighbor, like it's one thing where you're being kept up by them because you can hear literally everything going on through the wall, but having a dog and the dog's constantly barking, oh my god.
It's just like I I think it's just crazy to have a dog in college. That's just so much on your plate. I don't know. Like maybe you got a different stance on it, but like I just feel like caring for a dog in college is just like that's just so much extra shit that I would not put up with personally.
No, I mean I love dogs, but
Yeah, no, I love dogs. Don't get me wrong.
I can't do
I
that in
couldn't
college.
care for that right now.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible enough to do that shit. Like that dog would hate me. It would be way worse than fight. I wouldn't say way worse. That thing was really bad, but bad. I don't know. It's hard to have a dog that angry. Well, maybe if you have like back-to-back 8 a.m. to noon classes for 3 days straight,
Yeah, it might be a little
probably
pissed.
will be like that. But I would say that's the worst thing. Dog experience. I also had another experience my first year where my RA was just like a new kid, like from like the East Coast, and like low-key was the person providing most of the fun stuff that RAs are looking for to not be in the apartment rooms. And then it got found out. Whatever. We'll
That's a story for another day.
Story for a different day. Yeah, interesting college experiences. But you know what? Senior year off to a bang. Senior year off to a bang. Had the first USC game over the weekend. Yeah, I guess we'll dive into
Get
that.
into it.
You know, college football's kicking off. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a really important episode of the Waterboy Podcast, the kickoff college football episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode 147. Zachariah Branch is a superstar. Notre Dame has a quarterback. Mookie Betts is your new favorite to win NL MVP, and Everett, the Bishop Sycamore documentary, was truly the most mind-boggling sports-related thing I have ever seen in my life. If Hard Knocks is your nightly routine, put it on pause. Okay, you have a new thing to watch. The Florida doc, everyone was complaining about the Urban Meyer fluff piece. There was no fluff in this. Okay, I can.
Yeah, you know what the difference is? One was by Netflix, the other's on HBO Max.
Well, Urban Meyer also produced the Florida doc.
Oh, well, you know, that should have been the first sign that something was up.
I should have looked into that before watching the documentary to see who produced it. Because if I knew Urban produced it going into, I would have had a completely different set of expectations. But instead, I walked away disappointed like everyone else. But you know what? There's not much on the MLB. So we could just start there real quick.
We can talk about Mookie if we want.
Mookie Betts is now the favorite to win the National League MVP. He is over in 1,000 OPS, down to him and Acuna right now. Now Acuna has put up a 60 stolen base season right now. We're almost at the point where if he hits a single or walks, it is a free stolen base and essentially a double. We're almost at that stage. And that's really terrifying when the hitters after him are, you know, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Albies, you know, some scary hitters right behind him. But Mookie Betts is now the favorite to win NL MVP. The Dodgers, since the All-Star break, have been the hottest team in baseball. I forget which website uploaded it, but it may have been MLB.com or like Bleacher Report or something, but they put the Dodgers as their new number one team in the MLB.
I think it was yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, which I'd say, you know what? It's, as a Dodger fan, it's nice that people are starting to notice that we've been extremely hot after the break, but at the same time, you know what? I don't want it. I don't want this pressure almost of being that one seed. I don't want any of that. So I would much rather keep that number 2 spot. Shit, move us down to number 3. I think I'd like that even more. But Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman right now are just playing Freddie's been slumping a little bit, but Mookie's just been out of this world. The Fenway series, ridiculous. Everett, just a quick reminder that the Boston Red Sox traded Mookie Betts, David Price, and cash consideration to the Los Angeles Dodgers for Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and God damn it, I always forget the last one, Connor Wong. Now Jeter Downs, I'm not sure if he's, I think he got DFA'd by the Red Sox. I'm not sure which minor league system he's in now.
Yeah,
Wong,
but it's not
heard from him since.
Not really
and,
relevant.
Verdugo, although an MLB starter for the Red Sox since that Mookie Betts trade, not comparable to Mookie Betts. Now, I'm not quite ready to say this exactly.
No, say it.
Okay. The Mookie Betts trade, second worst trade in history, only behind the other trade that the Red Sox made, giving Babe Ruth to the Yankees. So the Mookie Betts trade. Now, this is another thing. The Red Sox have also won 2 major trades where they acquired Hall of Fame players. They got David Ortiz from the Twins for nothing, and they also got Pedro Martinez from the Dodgers for nothing. Now, this is how I would frame it a little bit different. Pedro Martinez, David Ortiz, when traded at the time, we didn't know that they were going to end up having Hall of Fame careers.
No, but in typical Minnesota fashion, I mean, it makes sense.
This isn't here to knock the Twins, okay? But this isn't a segment for that. So
we can do it a little bit though. That's fine.
You guys get a pass though. But when the Red Sox traded away Mookie Betts, they were well aware that he was literally on the path potentially for a Hall of Fame career. So in just terms of the assets given up at the time, it's a whole different scenario. Also, the Red Sox at the time, it was down to Mookie, it was down to Devers, and not JD, but Bogarts, Devers, and Mookie, who was going to get that big contract, and they decided only one of them was going to get it. They ended up picking Devers, which is understandable. He was the youngest player.
It's still pretty good. He's still pretty good.
Devers is really good. I would say Devers is maybe not this season the best hitting third baseman in baseball, but he's a top 3 hitting third baseman in baseball. And although he might be a bottom 5 fielding third baseman in baseball, it's all about the hitting, and that's all that matters. So he is a top 3 third baseman in baseball, regardless.
Billy Beane, he gets on base.
Essentially, pretty much. Yeah. But Mookie Betts letting him walk, it's interesting. It's an interesting decision. One that Red Sox fans were really not happy with this weekend when Mookie went, I think 7 for 15, 2 doubles, a home run.
I thought it was 9. I thought he got 9. I thought he went 9 for 15.
It might have been. I could have been more. I remember reading at one point 7 for 15 on that Sunday.
It was like 9 for 17, I think. So, maybe that was the end of it.
Regardless, he lit them up, reminded Boston, just damn it, we let him go at the age of 27, I believe is the year that the Dodgers got him. Yeah, thank you, Boston. Thank you. And thank you, Atlanta. Thank you, Atlanta, for Freddie Freeman. Thank you to his prior agent for not informing Freddie Freeman that the Braves matched. Thank you.
Thank you. I also just want to say,
been a Brave.
Having 2 MVP candidates on one team, like 2 favorites, is crazy to begin with. But I mean, if we can, the team's been firing on all cylinders for the most part, including the pitching room, which I will. With the bullpen, I will give props to the bullpen. But I mean, shit, if it wasn't for Mookie and Freddie, you and I would probably still be complaining right now. And we'll still be complaining probably like 2 weeks when something random happens. But we would be 100% complaining right now.
For this team to like really make noise in the playoffs, what I've noticed recently, Mookie has been getting a lot of RBI opportunities as the leadoff hitter. Now, there's no guarantee of this, but shit. Austin Barnes was stringing a couple of hits when Will Smith wasn't catching. Miguel Rojas was getting some hits in that 9-hole. If we could have runners on base, and then you got to go up against Mookie.
Well, we're not good with runners on base though. Historically, we're not good this season.
Well, everything's out the window this year. When Mookie and Freddie are up, it's a different story. But it's just they don't always have the RBI opportunities. So but you are correct. Yeah, I mean, there is nothing like more terrifying to the Dodgers than bases loaded, no outs, and they're hitting.
No,
That's the most
that might
terrifying thing.
actually be like the scariest thing on the planet for like imagine having a yeah, the Dodgers are
We are
RBI phobic.
terrified of bases loaded, no outs, and we're hitting. We're horrified of it. Oh my god! Whoever's up at the plate, base load, no outs, everyone on base, like, dude, we're so sorry for doing this to you, bro. We know you're striking out or popping out to fucking the catcher. We know it's gonna happen.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, we are cursed when bases are loaded. Well, second most cursed teams. The Mets exist, but yeah, we're top 3. You should see Frank.
Sorry, Frank.
When bases loaded, no outs. Like last year when the Mets went on their 101 win season, at one point I had Frank the Tank Noties on when they were losing their lead to the Braves, and I swear every time they had bases loaded, no outs, they never scored. It was like actually phenomenal, like historical shit. I've never seen that. But yeah, that's the MLB update. Okay, on to college football. First thing I want to talk about that we didn't really dive into in the offseason, really, the new college football clock rules. So in the old way, Everett, every time you got a first down, the clock would stop for 7 seconds. The game would be delayed real quick for the chains to reset. And so under that style, offenses could move way quicker. There was no 2-minute warning, but because every time you get the first down, the clock just stops for a little bit, high tempo spread offense could really work and keep going and push the ball downfield very quickly with the clock stopping on first downs. Now that is gone. It is now like the NFL, where, okay, I did not check in on this. I don't think there's a 2-minute warning.
I haven't heard anything about 2 minutes.
Once there are 2 minutes left in the half, the old rule is back and every first down stops the clock for 7 seconds. Now, let's start off with this. In my opinion, college football games were way too long. I do not want to say the amount of times that 9 a.m. Ohio State start times for West Coast would end at 1 p.m. Literally 4-hour games. It's like, okay, I don't need to sit here 4 hours to beat Rutgers 63-7. Okay, this does not need to be 4 fucking hours
as an individual who has to be at
what is your opinion? Because the games are so long.
And my day's longer because I have to be there before the game starts too. There would be a couple games. I will not say which games they were last year, but
I have my assumptions on who they could be. But
there were a couple games last year where I was just kind of there and I was just like, oh my God, this is so like, this is miserable to sit through the rest of this game.
Really muggy down in NOLA. So I can feel even worse for you. But
terrible.
But don't get me wrong, the games were too long and something had to change. Like, I completely agree. But the best way to solve this problem wasn't by removing the 7-second clock. Okay, removing the 7-second clock, I feel like they're going to reason to shorten the time of games. That's definitely the reason why they did it. But that's going to really impact the football itself and those high tempo, fast offenses, especially, well, rest in peace to the Big 12, but rest in peace to any 70-64 Big 12 shootouts between Mahomes and RG3 and shit. Like, well, they never play, but Mahomes and like Baker,
that would have been lit though.
Those are all gone. There are going to be no more 70-77 shootouts. Like, those are gone because the games are just shorter, and it, like, with the clock stopping on
well, they're not fully gone. If we go to OT, they might come back.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, never forget Texas A&M LSU that went to like 7 overtimes like 4 years ago. Never forget. But yes, that is true. It could still in theory happen. But like, in terms of regular time endings, like, we're not going to see many 50-60 point games anymore. Like, it's going to be rare to happen. But also just from a college football, just coaching perspective and this changes a lot of things. Like, clock, like, for example, Ohio State versus Georgia last year. Okay. Screw that. Ohio State versus Michigan. I'll play it into you because Michigan ran the fuck over Ohio State, like everyone says.
Yeah.
In that game, without the first down stopping, the game would have been over at like after Michigan's essentially second long touchdown run when they won it by 2 scores. The game would have been iced right there. Ohio State needs high tempo. They need those first downs, stop the clock, score quickly to get back in the games. And Michigan can just milk. Well, they could milk anyway. Milk. But it's on offense. You can't, if you're down by 2 scores with 5 minutes left, done. And I feel like in the past,
I will say,
it happen.
I will say, like,
clock management's going to manage a bit more. I'm not saying
it definitely helps with the pace of the game. Like, you know, how long it'll help with that. And like, it might help some coaches get jobs in the NFL because now they're coaching similar rules. They can show, you know, this is how I operate, right? I can do this. But what I will add though, the kind of thing that made college football was the ability to have those high scoring games, to have huge comebacks that are just, that's one of the best parts.
Tulane USC last year would have been much different.
That if it was these clock rules, USC probably has that game iced when they're up by 2 scores with 3-4 minutes left, because it'd actually be like a minute.
That is potentially, but I'm saying like the whole course of the game would be different. You know, the first half.
No, yeah, 100%. Also, keep in mind, Tulane's our entire offense last year was predominantly run.
Well, I'm saying like actually going into it, shit, maybe you guys would have actually controlled the game. I don't know. Like, who knows? I do think it helps out run-oriented teams. Now, I'm not saying
but what I do think though is that
once again,
part of the nature
come back in a game if you're down.
Yeah, a part of the nature of college football is having massive comebacks, all these kind of things. I don't like the fact that it's gone.
Okay, actually, I'm actually going to flip this a little bit. If you are like a full-on run-only team, now you need to start passing. Like if the first
Navy, we're looking at you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like actually, shit. On a vice versa, it could really harm running teams.
Yeah, you know what's even better? It's even going to be better.
Okay.
The under on the Army Navy game.
Oh hell yes. Oh yes. Oh yeah. It is
100%.
Oh yeah, without question. That's an under if I've ever seen.
Okay, so you know what, we as of right now, I'm not going to state who it is, what it is, for our listeners, but we're currently planning on having a special guest, barring unforeseen things that happen in the NFL for the next couple of days. But we're expected to have a guest for when we're recording on Wednesday, which will take away some of our ability to look at the college football week 1 matchups. So what I want to do right now, can you pull up the list of the kind of like critical games for week 1?
Yeah, I got them. There's not many, but I got them.
But let's go. I want you to go through them, and I want you to tell me.
I got my predictions. My matchup and go through the predictions. Week 1 predictions. So let's start off with this. I have season-long predictions.
Okay.
2. I kind of feel like we should start with that, but we could do week 1 first.
Let's start with low and then go big.
So start with just the week 1?
Week 1 and then go big.
Okay, so week 1 college football predictions, week 1 kickoff. Holy shit, I'm so excited. I had some week 0 reactions. There's not much to say. Zachariah Branch. I want to say this. Zachariah Branch is the most exciting skill player USC has had since Reggie Bush. Okay. In the Coliseum over the weekend, there was a different energy, an energy I haven't felt quite yet as a USC student. Now, Caleb Williams, trust me, I felt that energy last year, but when it's a receiver, it's a little bit different. Knowing that he can go boom, boom whenever he wants. Zachariah Branch. Wow. Yeah, most explosive skill player USC has had since Reggie Bush. But there's that USC defensive concerns though. We'll get into it later, really. But wow. 28 to San Jose State in that first half. They could not get off the field to save their life, giving up 3rd and longs. Yeah, don't expect major changes this season, boys. Don't expect anything crazy this year.
Alex Grinch staying for the boys.
Alex Grinch has serious dirt on now. Okay, while I was watching the game, I was with my roommate at the call, and I turned to him. I was like, "All right, Alex Grinch has serious dirt on Lincoln Riley. That is the only explanation he still has a job." There's no other reason. I don't know what blackmail he has, but it's bad. Okay. And Alex Grinch like has Lincoln Riley held hostage because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. One thing, I was sitting there, and as an Ohio State fan, Alex Grinch was my defense coordinator in 2018, the Dwayne Haskins year, Urban Meyer's last year. Ryan Day promptly fired him before his first season as head coach. But Lincoln took him from Ohio State, and Grinch has not been able to put up a top 25 defense in 5 or 6 years now as a DC. What makes you think he's going to do it now? It makes no sense he's still there. As long, Lincoln's just got to get that DC hire. If he gets that DC hire, oh my God. Wow. But if Grinch is there, this team is severely limited. They are very limited in what they can do. They literally got to score 56 points a game to win, like big time games. They have to put up 60 a game. But yeah, also Notre Dame. I got some respect for Sam Hartman, Everett. I'm not sure if you got to see. It was in Ireland, but let's just say Sam Hartman. Okay. Week 4 at Notre Dame. Ohio State goes to Notre Dame this year, Everett. And USC also goes to Notre Dame.
Yeah, one of my friends is a Notre Dame fan, and he was like over the moon with how they were playing. I'm like, dude, they're playing Navy
now.
But also, hey, real quick, they played Navy. UCF, you lost to Navy last year. That's why we got home field advantage in the championship game. So just want to point that one out.
Well, you also beat UCF head-to-head regular season, so wouldn't have you had the time?
No, we didn't. We lost them regular season.
Really?
Yes, we had 2 losses.
Why do I not
Southern
remember?
Miss. Oh, shit. UCF the first time. We played them again.
Oh, I remember.
2 weeks later.
I remember. Yeah, but yeah, Notre Dame got my respect. But okay, week 1 predictions. Okay. On Thursday, Florida at Utah. Utah coming back. Kyle Whittingham. -6.5 at home. I think Utah wins, and I think Utah covers, makes a statement win over the SEC. This year, there's a little bit of bad blood out there with conference realignment, a little bit of extraction. And Utah, despite being ranked 14th, I feel like throughout that program, they're definitely feeling like they're being disrespected. Definitely feel like they have not gained the respect that they deserve. And I like Utah to win there and cover the 6.5. Saturday, my game, Ohio State -30 versus Indiana. Ohio State's going to cover, and Trevion Henderson will remind America how good he is. North Carolina at South Carolina. North Carolina, 2.5 point favorite, going into South Carolina, taking on Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks. I like South Carolina to win this game at home. Spencer Rattler going to start off that senior season right. I think he's a senior. Not entirely sure.
I don't know.
And then on Sunday, game of the week. Probably the most exciting college football game we'll have. Bama, Texas next week is a banger. I'm going to give that one the edge. But
Ole Miss and Tulane too.
That as well. Oh, damn it. You're not getting game day ever. Texas at Bama, dude. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
We'll get it with UTSA later in the season.
You'll get it.
We'll get it once.
You'll get it.
Well, actually, no, I can't say that because we had the best game physically possible last year for it with playing UCF for conference.
I will call them up at ESPN. Trust me. I got resources and connections there. But Sunday, game of the week, Everett. The number 5 LSU Tigers and Brian Kelly take on Mike Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles, the number 8 ranked team in the country according to the AP polls. Now, this game will be played in Orlando. It says at Florida State, so not really a Florida State home game, but in Orlando.
Is there a reason for that?
It's the stupid. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Last year, Florida State played at LSU, but they played it in the Sugar Bowl. Mercedes-Benz.
I was at that game.
But for I don't know why they didn't do home and homes. Really stupid. They should have done it. But every year college football, they have an opening weekend series in a neutral site. Usually Alabama does that game, and they get their neutral site away game out of the way, which is a fake away game. And Alabama uses that as their away game, and they'll schedule like USC when they had like Cody Kessler, like funny ass games. But this could be the marquee matchup, LSU versus Florida State. Last year, Florida State won in a really close one. I'm not sure if you remember. Phenomenal.
I was at the game. I remember it.
Oh, holy fuck. I'm so dope. You just said that. But I think LSU is going to take this one. Brian Kelly's going to split the series 1-1 with Norvell and Florida State. I like the Tigers. Go Tigers. Also, phenomenal quarterback matchup right here. Jaden Daniels going up against Jordan Travis. So this is going to be a phenomenal matchup. Also, Florida State, a lot of top draft picks, potential draft picks that you might have an interest in. So they have a big time DN in Jared Verse, projected to potentially be the number 1 edge off the board next year. So that's a man to keep your eye on. Also, Florida State got a big time receiver, Johnny Wilson. LSU got a big time receiver, Malik Neighbors. Florida State, one of my favorite transfer portal players of the offseason, Fentrell Cypress, coming over from Virginia. We're going to see what he can do. I'm really excited. I got LSU though. But we can quickly go through season predictions.
Yeah, let's do that quickly.
Okay, real quick. We're going to go by conference. Should I save Tulane for last, the AAC, or start off?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of just ruined it. We'll start off with it. AAC. 13-0 Tulane Green Wave. Well, at the time, 12-0. Shit, I just gave away who I think is going to win that game. 12-0 Tulane will take on a 9-3 UTSA Roadrunners, knock them off, win the AAC. Second straight AAC to finish 13-0. Moving on to the Pac-12. I have an 11-1 Oregon Ducks losing in a rematch to an 11-1 USC Trojans, or 10-2 USC Trojans. Oregon will be the home team in that game. USC winning in a rematch. For the ACC, I have an 11-1 Florida State Seminoles taking on a 11-1 Clemson Tigers, with Clemson winning that and winning the ACC yet again for maybe like the 11th straight year. Now, we raise some eyebrows there. I want to remind the college football world of this, Everett. Now, we said it here first. Head coach, your offense corner, defense corner, position coaches, those are on you. And if they do a bad job, that's on you. Well, Dabo happened to make the best offseason coaching hire that he could possibly make in taking Graham Riley from the TCU Horned Frogs. Graham Riley will be the new offensive coordinator for Clemson, and I am expecting Cade Klubnik to have a nice little season at Clemson. Also, they got that running back, Will Shipley. Heard he's really hardworking, first one in, last one out type of mentality. So that's the Clemson Tigers. Big Ten. I have a 12-0 Ohio State team beating
11-1.
Beating a 10-2 Wisconsin Badgers team. I have Wisconsin making it this year. In the last year that the Big Ten West is a thing. Now remember, it's a Big Ten West, Everett. So Ohio State and Michigan can't be in the Big Ten championship game.
I realized that after the fact. When you said Wisconsin, I was thinking marquee matchup being like Michigan, Ohio State,
Michigan,
but
Ohio
I forgot
State,
they're the same
Penn
side.
State cannot but the Big Ten West, it's Wisconsin or Iowa. Now, hey, that's a coin flip. I'm not so sold on Wisconsin making it there, but I expect a step up.
Tanner Mordecai, pretty good.
Yeah, Mordecai and Braylon Allen, pretty good. But lastly,
The SEC.
I have a 12-0 Georgia Bulldogs taking on a 12-0 Alabama Crimson Tide. Who would you have winning that game?
Bama.
Wow, I kind of thought that'd be a shock for me to say. I have Alabama winning the SEC championship game and being the
You can't support Carson Beck. I'm just saying.
Most punchable face in college football. It's disgusting. It's gross. So now we don't know Alabama's quarterback. Is it going to be Jalen Milroe? Is it going to be Tyler Buckner? We don't know. We'll see. God damn it, I forgot the third guy's name. I'm sorry, but I'm not expecting him to win it. But Alabama, we know their guy is, but I do know who's on the O-line. JC Latham. I'm still really mad he picked Alabama over Ohio State. Got a really good line, and that defense is the DBs look really good this year. That the Bama defense didn't quite have the DBs on the back end, but this year, yeah, Bama's gonna be something. Okay, college football playoff predictions, Everett. Unfortunately, despite going 13-0, the College Football Playoff Committee will not view Tulane's wins over UTSA and Ole Miss to be impressive because UTSA will finish as 9-4 and Ole Miss will finish the season barely over 500, probably 500. So you guys aren't going to get much respect for those wins, and the committee will put a one-loss Georgia in over you guys. I'm sorry. But hey, it means more in the South. It means more in SEC land. These are my college football playoff predictions. 4-1 or 1-4?
4-1.
Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama. I was considering putting Georgia at 4 and Clemson at 3, but last year the committee showed not last year, but in years prior,
I got a quick little question.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Notre Dame? What's Notre Dame's record?
I haven't done the whole thing, but
I mean,
best
they
case,
would be
11-1.
So you thinking 11-1 Georgia gets in over 11-1 Dame?
12-1 Georgia.
Oh yes,
who was the number one team in college football going into the SEC championship game, where Georgia will be the only team in the country who gets a pass, saying that, well, not every other team had to play that 13th game, but Georgia had to, and they happened to go up against the best team in the country. So Georgia's still a top 14. They're going to somehow segue it and spin it. So that's the case. I guarantee it.
That was how TCU got in last year, technically, even though they lost the championship game. So
pretty much. So, like, we'll see how it all plays out. That's what I'm predicting right now. 2 SEC in, 1 Big Ten, and Clemson back in the college football playoff.
Tulane getting shafted.
It's going to be a reminder that, hey, it's time for change. It's going to be one last reminder. Yeah, those are my predictions, though, for the season.
Do you have any lists to give out before we go into the NFL?
Oh, yeah, I do. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. It's been a minute. It has been a second since we have been riling up people in the comment sections, but these are the only correct college football rankings entering week 1, going from 10 to 1. Oregon, Clemson, Penn State, USC, LSU, Florida State, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Georgia. Now, I don't really have.
I'm just going to interrupt real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Dodgers are up 3-0 in the bottom of the first. It was a let's see here real quick. It was a Muncie homer. Just had a little, just had to interlude that. Sorry. I apologize. But yeah, and a Freddie homer. So 2 homers.
All right, off to a nice little Monday night. We could see. Yeah, college football rankings though. No, I'm not going to put Ohio State over Michigan right now. Michigan and Ohio State are on a collision course. Another undefeated matchup at the end of the year. So yeah, that's my prediction as well. But I think, okay, the Big Ten championship won't have an undefeated matchup, but because Ohio State versus Michigan will be the Big Ten championship game. Now I'm thinking of Penn State too. Don't get me wrong, but Ohio State versus Michigan, considering that that's the Big Ten championship game, I have a really hard time seeing Ohio State and Michigan getting in again this year because I believe Georgia and Bama are both going to be undefeated. Georgia plays no one. Bama's got Tennessee.
I know a lot of people are talking about USC. I know their defense is trash, but you couldn't see the USC fighting for a playoff spot.
Oh, there we go. Holy shit.
There we go.
Yeah, I really hate Zoom with old MacBooks. Do not upgrade.
Well, yeah, you do use a literal toaster to record. So
holy shit. What was I just saying? God damn it.
USC making playoffs.
Yes. Okay. For USC make the playoffs. First things first, the defense. San Jose State guys. Wow. Let's just say I'm not too optimistic about the outlook of their defense, and with Grinch still there. It's just, I don't know. We'll see. But what I want to point out is USC's schedule at the end of the season, how difficult it is, Everett. So USC at the end of the year, they got to go up against. Let me pull up the exact list. My apologies. They got to end the year at Notre Dame versus Utah, at Cal versus Washington, at Oregon, and at home with UCLA. That's one of the toughest stretches to end the season I have ever seen. Last year, I did a worst case expected and best case scenario. This is my worst case expected best case scenario for USC this year after seeing that game against San Jose State. Worst case scenario, 8-4. Best case scenario, or middle case, what I'm thinking scenario, 10-2. Best case, 11-1. There's almost no chance they go undefeated this year. Like it.
By your words, exactly 4%.
Yeah, 4%. Yeah, I think that is what I told you.
That is exactly what you said.
It's just like, dude, I mean, that schedule, that's a gauntlet.
Now,
that's a
what if Alex Grinch is fired midseason?
It depends on who the hire is. Really depends.
Say it's somebody good.
Even then, it's really hard to just implement a new defense midseason and get it off the floor running. So they can make the playoff. It's just undefeated. No. And would I give them a good shot of beating a Georgia or Bama or Ohio State or Michigan? No, I would not this year.
You're basically asking, do you give Caleb Williams a shot at beating one of those schools?
Yes. That's essentially the argument being made here.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the NFL real quick. There's not a whole lot going on right now. We have cut down so that the final day is tomorrow. And then we'll possibly talk about it on Wednesday. We'll see, or for Thursday's episode.
Yeah.
But with that said, there's some stuff going on. I have 4 positions to talk about before I 5 things actually to talk about before I get into my list. Also, just wanted to do a little shout out. Lakers are finally putting up a Kobe and Vanessa Bryant statue, so shout out to them.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is going to be unveiled on Mamba Day. Yes,
on 8/2/8/24, I think is what they said, right? 2/8/24, I think is the.
Oh, okay.
Mamba Day already happened.
It just happened, so I was like, wait.
Which is when they announced it, but
yeah.
So as a Vikings fan, as a friend of a Vikings fan, I know that you know all about Blair Walsh and our playoff game with Blair Walsh.
Talking to me? You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Yeah. I know you know all about that. My feelings about that.
Wide left. I'm really proud of you for being able to sit back and laugh at it now. I really haven't gone over my kicks.
When pain and agony happens multiple times.
We're both hurt. We both hurt together.
Yeah. But over the weekend, there was a podcast. There's a Vikings podcast that had 2 former players on, both of which were on the team when that kick happened. All right. And these guys are offensive linemen. And they're talking. Oh my God. They're talking. Starting. Okay. They're talking about how, what everything was like after that kick. All right. And
now are they talking team morale?
They're talking about this is in the locker room right afterwards. Mike Zimmer is apparently, he's like, hey guys, we win as a team.
Extra 5-finger grizzly claw dip or grip of dip in his leg.
Mike Zimmer's like, all right, we win as a team, we lose as a team. All right. It's not just on Blair, it's on everybody. And Everson Griffin goes, the fuck it ain't. It's on Blair.
I love that because it's true. Everyone's thinking it.
Just come on.
Hey, be honest. Raw emotions coming out, right?
At least he's saying what everybody was thinking. Blair, dude, come on.
I don't know. Do you think damn, what was that Bears locker room like when
Cody Nagy definitely was not as nice about it. He's probably just dude, what the fuck?
Matt Nagy was just like, I'm calling my agent right now.
Cody.
Honk alert.
It's like, Cody, you better be calling your fucking agent. Learn Chinese, buddy.
Yeah, get ready to learn Mandarin, buddy. But yeah, that's a great little story.
Next thing, kind of Vikings related, but when in the draft, when the Justin Fields draft, okay, there were multiple quarterbacks that afterwards people of these fan bases were touting them as better than Justin Fields, right? There was Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, both picked before. And then there's the dumb fuck annoying Vikings fans that were like, all right, because we didn't get Justin Fields, now Kellen Mond is the better pick because like we have to support our guys, right? Zach Wilson's now a backup. Trey Lance was traded. Kellen Mond is no longer on a
he just third got string? Cut from the Browns.
Third string. No, he got brought back. He's the third string.
Okay, there we go. Good shit.
So who just lost out to a rookie though. So just thought that's a little ironic. Jets and the fucking 49ers
there's
making terrible
decisions. There's a little viral tweet going around and it was just showing Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields their
ratings, they're 24/7.
They were like 999 and 9998, or like they were both top two, like two of the highest rated quarterback prospects ever in college football history. But like, I don't know, it's just really cute to me, the narrative of Ohio State quarterbacks, one read system, Ryan Day, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both have Ohio State quarterbacks in our dynasty league, so we better be hoping that that's some falsity.
Well, the draft has shown you that, I mean, Trey Lance's injuries, so he gets a slight pass. But Zach Wilson, how did anyone ever think Zach Wilson was going to be a better quarterback than Justin Fields? Like,
ask the scouts, man.
Never understand.
Fun fact of the day.
Dropped in the draft literally for no reason.
Talking about the Jets, though, fun fact of the day: Mekhi Becton, who's been in the league for 3 years now.
I believe this is year 3.
He has never played a regular season game in front of fans in Jet Stadium in MetLife.
Yeah, he's gonna be starting
in his home stadium. He has never played in front of fans.
The last little bit of Hard Knocks I got to saw, it was Aaron going up to Becton like, "Hey, let's get lunch next week or something." So part of me thinks that
he is starting. He was announced as the starter.
No, yeah, I know. But part of me thinks that Aaron was like, "All right, this could be my tackle. Let me take him out to lunch. Maybe slap him around a little bit. Let him know what it's like to be the right tackle for Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. We'll see how
treat him well.
I'm kidding.
Last two things. One, I think you saw this, but apparently Matthew Stafford's having a hard time connecting with his younger teammates. He doesn't know how to lead.
He's struggling to gel with young Rams.
He doesn't know how to lead people that he doesn't have connection with, and has to somehow find the way. He even went to the equipment guy to get a book printed of all of their faces and names so that he can learn them.
That's weird. That last one was weird. But I just want to say this.
So I can tell you.
Everett. Wait a second. Now, I don't know about you if you remember this, but kind of right when he got traded to the Rams right after the Super Bowl, all the pictures of Frat Stafford were going around. Doesn't seem to me that Frat Stafford really connects with the frat young boy. Well, I'm not going to say every single new Rams. I mean, Skowronek, probably not a frat guy himself, but I don't know. Maybe Matt Stafford is losing his touch with Gen Z.
Yeah, I can tell you who's not going to be in the NFL after this year. Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I just want to say though, that quote about Matthew Stafford, that just sounds to me that Cooper Kupp's getting 49 targets a game. So that's all I heard. That's the only thing I heard in my mind. I didn't hear anything else. And Higbee might get 2 less targets per game, but
Van Jefferson. Hey, Van Jefferson.
Oh, you are correct. Actually, Van Jefferson's also going to. But Puka. How do you pronounce it?
Puka Nacua.
But you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Oh, how many targets did he get this year? 0.
Bingo.
0. But yeah.
Last thing. We brought this up before, but I saw it again, so I wanted to mention it. Brock Purdy is the best possible quarterback to have for your team by a setup standpoint. So when you sign a UDFA, typically you're like basically getting you're fighting to get them to come and join your team. So you're giving them offers, bigger offers, typically are larger settlements than 7th round picks. Brock Purdy was the very last pick
Is
in
there
the
any
NFL draft.
limit to the length you can sign people to or something? Like,
Yeah, there is. But Brock Purdy was the very last pick in the NFL draft, meaning he got the lowest physical
yeah,
amount of
Mr.
money
Relevant.
possible for a player to have. He is now the starting quarterback for the 49ers. If you want to talk about quarterbacks on team friendly contracts and teams wanting to make the most out of rookie contracts, Brock Purdy is quite literally
it's like the most goated thing for a GM.
the best. Like the 49ers better be
and considering Trey Lance.
If Brock Purdy actually is a great quarterback, is a elite quarterback, whatever the fuck
just a franchise quarterback.
Franchise quarterback. The 49ers better be winning the Super Bowl at least once on this contract. And better have continually one of the best teams in the NFL because they're not paying an absurd amount of money.
Yeah, no, I mean he's getting paid absolutely dirt cheap. He's
literally the cheapest
contract.
The cheapest you physically can pay a player is what Brock Purdy is getting.
And so with Purdy Mania, I want to say there have been some things going around. Now RG3 said that Brock Purdy is the only reason why Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch still have jobs, and that if they didn't get Brock Purdy, they should both be fired right now. To which many people debate with RG3, saying like, what are you talking about? Like I know they've missed on many. The Trey Lance trade is really bad, but still the 49ers, their team, like you wouldn't fire John Lynch and Shanahan if they didn't have Brock Purdy and like Darnold was the quarterback. What do you think about that, though? Do you think Brock Purdy saved John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan's career?
I don't think so. I mean, they for all their issues they've had finding a quarterback, they've still managed to do pretty well. And even with they probably would have been able to re-sign Jimmy Garoppolo and stuff, but the miss on Trey Lance is pretty astronomical.
Really bad, considering
it's really bad considering what was there and what you gave up. But outside of that one position, the 49ers have continually had one of the best teams in the NFL. They just so happen to be missing the most important position in the NFL. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they would have been fired, but like the hot seat is extremely warm, at least for John Lynch. Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, like
probably
GM fine. More so like, okay, you could just blame him for not getting the quarterback right, but still, I mean, the rest of the team's ridiculous. And but though, like they gave up Tyreek, Waddle, Chubb, and like one other, or I think it was just those three.
The pick that got traded to get Parsons.
Yeah, like I mean, ridiculous. Like ridiculous what they gave up for Lance. But yeah, Trey Lance a Cowboy. Hell yeah, Jerry.
Also, shout out to the Dolphins GM for pulling that shit off, because I don't think that the 49ers would have been actually able to do that.
Yeah, like I mean,
teams
that the Dolphins franchise now, if they didn't make that move, I mean,
teams would have wanted more from them.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of things going on.
Okay, to wrap up the episode for today, we have top 10 uniforms in the NFL. It's a little bit more subjective, so take everything with a grain of salt. Essentially, we're going to be looking at all teams' kind of wardrobe of uniforms, right? So current away, current home, considered alternates, all right? But everything that is currently
helmets,
right? Everything that is currently implemented for the team to wear, all right? Not historically what they have had,
right now,
nothing like that, all right? Currently allowed apparel.
We got it. We got it.
Okay. 10-1. 10-1.
Yeah.
Seahawks, Dolphins, 49ers, Packers, Ravens, Bengals, Raiders, Eagles, Vikings, Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that my franchise can do, it's Twitter and uniforms. Okay. It might be the only things we do, but hey, I'm not sure about you, Everett. I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but other than who wins the Super Bowl and who has the first pick in the NFL draft, the third biggest winner in the NFL is who has the best jersey. So third best team in the NFL based off that metric. We'll take that every single year. We'll take that every year. Top 3 and number 3. That's right, baby.
All right. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Rate us 5 stars. You can find us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. We post every Tuesday and Thursday for new episodes on YouTube and on all podcast platforms. We post new TikToks every Tuesday to Sunday. You don't want to mix them. Make sure to follow for that. We're posting more on Instagram now as well at the Waterboy Pod. So make sure to follow us there. We have graphics and everything. You guys definitely would love them.
Big time graphics.
Big time graphics. Big time graphics. We're hoping to start live streaming soon. We've said that multiple times now. It still has not happened. Our schedules are very busy producing content for y'all, but it's going to happen. I promise you. But stay tuned for that. And we'll see you guys in the next episode, hopefully with a very special guest. So, Waterboys out.